This is the 5 Point Play Podcast, the Die-Hard Duke basketball fans podcast. Running a three-man weave today with my main man Pablo and Jack. We're down D and pause, and then we're down
Hey yo,
AC's. AC's
whoa.
still licking his wounds after just going on Twitter telling everybody that VJ was going to pick Duke, and just to full transparency. Look, recruiting is fluid. Things happen at the 11th hour. This is not our first rodeo. When we tell you that, certain guy is going to Duke, we're telling you not because we're guessing, because all of us are lucky enough to have, specific sources in different areas that are giving us this intel, and shit changes. And that's what happened, in this situation. And, we even talked about it, Pablo. We talked about the roster, would that be a factor? Do you think that played into it, or do you think it was just simply, Baylor made a better pitch in terms of, the dollar amount, and, that at the end of the day was what it was?
I just, I mean, I don't, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what it was. I don't, like as far as money goes, I ain't talking about no money because I don't, I don't know about that part or whatever. But I think ultimately what it came down to is, roster construction. You know what I'm saying? I think he just saw, where the better opportunity was. It's not even so much the fit. I think it's just, I think he just picked opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there's, fit wise, obviously he fits at Duke, and he fits at Baylor as well. But I just feel like, hey, just kudos to Baylor, man. Just shout
Yeah,
out to Baylor. Um, congrats to VJ. You know what I'm saying? Great young man. He's gonna do great things there. You know what I mean? I wish him the best. And salute to him.
yeah, no doubt. I think a lot of times in this situation, Jack, you find a lot of fans, well, we don't need them. We didn't really want, like, that kind of stuff. It's just garbage. Like, we absolutely wanted him. Obviously, Shire wanted him, and I think he would have been a perfect fit next to Cooper Flag. But at the end of the day, I mean, like Pablo said, the roster is a little bit in flux for Duke next year. We don't know what Foster, McCain, we don't know what Jeremy Roach is going to do. So there's a lot of things up in the air. Where do you kind of just taking a look at our roster for next year? Where do you kind of see some of those guys with their decisions?
I'm not gonna act like I know anything. First off, Jeremy Roach, I don't think he's gonna be back. Not for any specific reason, really, more than I feel like he's just kind of done with college. I do not expect him to be playing college basketball next year. I'll say that. If he is, I will be pleasantly surprised. I believe if he does choose to come back, it would be Duke. Um, that aside, I really don't think we know about anyone other than the incoming freshman being on the roster next year.
Yeah,
I feel like
probably.
there are guys who could transfer. I feel like there are guys
Yeah,
who could declare, but we'll see.
yeah. I mean, my gut probably tells me that McCain goes. I just think that, I know that he didn't have his best performance, against Georgia Tech or anything like that. That's fine. But he has been playing really good ball. And I think that this is a weak draft. Um, and I just think that it's an opportunity for him. I would gladly take him back, but I think of the freshmen, of the two, him and Foster, I think he would be the one to go.
You talking about McCain?
McCain.
Oh, okay, yeah. So his draft stock is skyrocketing right now. You know what I'm saying? That little stretch, that he had, you know what I'm saying, of hitting all those 3 pointers and just, just picking up his play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but the thing about it though, man, if you look at it, man, it seems like Jared McCain is having like the most fun in the world, man, at Duke. So it's like you could look at it twofold, you know what I mean? You could see him leaving, you know what I mean? Because you know how they, the general consensus is like when your draft stock is high, go. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what might happen. You know what I'm saying? But then you look at the other, side of the coin, and you see how much fun he's having at Duke, and you know what I mean, just everything that's going well for him, and you see him coming back. Um, ultimately, honestly, I don't know what he's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? But I totally wouldn't be upset if he declared. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Whatever these teams decide to do, I mean, outside of the DJ Stewart one, that one made zero sense to me. But outside of that one, if these guys, they're projected to be first round, I would tell my kid to
Yeah.
go, even as a diehard fan. So it just makes too much business sense. But we'll see. I mean, um, we just played a couple games. We played Pitt at Pitt, and then kind of a weird scheduling situation where we're gonna play Pitt again on Saturday. So Jack, obviously we kind of came out and punched him right in the mouth. Flip was fantastic. I think D and I in the last podcast, I know we kind of got into it a little bit, kind of calling out Flip. These last two games, dude, he was amazing, and he is
Flip
by far.
responded to you, TK.
I mean, look, sometimes you gotta push your guys a little bit. But yeah, obviously Flip played great, but the whole team did too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 62-28 when Duke was like, okay, yeah, we don't have to keep trying anymore. I mean, you know what I mean when I say that. Of course they're gonna keep trying, but my goodness, I will say that I haven't had a chance to fully rewatch the game, but during the game I was watching on my phone with 2 bars of service because we had no power. So there was that. But what I did see when it wasn't buffering was pure dominance. That was on the road. I can't imagine what they're gonna do at home.
Yeah, Pablo, I thought the ball movement was great. I thought Flip went to the basket with
Hey, yo.
conviction. Well, oh, come on, man. I thought
Yo.
come on, man.
Nah, I'm
That's
fucking with you,
insane.
man.
Yes,
We
we
got
could
we
have
got to
said
be
he was
professional.
gonna try to get this banner up as much as he could today.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I thought the I, come on, guys. All right, so we like to have a
I
lot of
got you.
fun here on the 5 Point Play podcast, but Duke was having a lot of fun at Pitt. I mean, the ball movement
Yeah.
was great. The defensive pressure I thought was great. Overall, just a dominating performance. I'm not even sure what else we can say about it. Yeah, I thought Pitt was defeated before the under 16 timeout in the first half.
Yeah, that game, man, that was I think that was the most locked in I've seen Duke from start to finish, you know what I mean, this season. And it was good to see, you know what I mean? They like you said, they came right out, they punched him in the mouth, and Pitt couldn't recover. You know what I mean? The game was over probably within the first 7 minutes, and that's the Duke that everybody's scared of, you know what I mean? And that's the Duke that everybody, predicted to be number one or two in the polls. Pause. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? In the rankings, you know what I'm saying? So that right there is like, man, everybody played fantastic. I don't think anybody had a bad game. What do we have? Six players in double digits or something like that?
Something like
Um,
that.
yeah, that was just pure dominance. And then from a defensive standpoint, they just were locked in, man. You just seen a lot of communication out there. You seen guys just stepping up, I mean, switching, you know, they were physical. Uh, guys were, like I said, guys were communicating, were talking, rebounding the hell out of the ball. Yeah, it was an impressive showing. You know what I mean? I think when Duke plays like that, I mean, we could beat anybody in America. Bottom
Yeah,
line.
yeah, I mean, we shot 44% from three, which was great. And to Jack's point earlier, we won 75-53, but if we really, kept the foot on the gas, we could have easily put up 100 and just
Yeah.
taken their will. But there was no need for that. Nobody played more than 30 minutes in that game, which is great. TJ Power, um, Sean Stewart were able to get in there and get some minutes. Friend of the podcast, Jalen Blakes, man, that guy just continues to um, give everything that he has, effort wise on the basketball court. He's always making things happen, and we needed every bit of it, Jack, against Georgia Tech. I just didn't see, you know, the Georgia Tech Warriors came out. I thought Duke actually defensively. I mean, you guys can bring it up, but I thought defensively Duke was actually all right. They hit so many
Yeah.
contested threes. I mean, I think they exposed us on the pick and roll again, so we got to clean that up. And I think you guys are going to do a coach's corner on Thursday
Yeah.
on Patreon,
Hmm.
so make sure everybody tunes into that. But yeah, Jack. I mean, I wasn't as upset on Saturdays. I think a lot of fans were because I just thought Georgia Tech was shooting out of their minds.
I was upset because they were shooting out of their minds. Look, yeah, there were some open shots, and that was defensive laps, but most of those shots were incredibly well contested and had no business being near the hoop. And like, I feel like this is revenge for last year when we doubled their final score at Georgia Tech and just shot the lights out. Like it was upsetting. I'm not gonna act like it wasn't upsetting to see these stupid shots go in because it's always against Duke. It's like, it is what it is. Everyone's national championship and all that, but at the end of the day, Duke won. Tyrese showed up big time, and that was huge.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is that that was the Tyrese Proctor that we've been looking for. I thought there's no question that was his best game of the year. He hit three threes in a row that really allowed us to, come kind of come back and then overtake them and put the game a little bit away there. Just kind of talk about that, Pablo, Tyrese's play, and is that here to stay?
Yeah, well, shit. I'm hoping so. Like I said, I think it was in the last podcast. I don't think we could reach our ceiling as a team unless we have Tyrese Proctor playing at a high level. And if we do have him playing at a high level, I'll tell you what, man, everybody better watch out because Duke is going to be incredibly hard to beat. Um, I think he stepped in, when we needed it. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? We were looking for something.
Yeah.
He came, like you said, he came in, he hit three pointers in succession. And that was a big boost. You know, what I mean, he shot that fourth one out there. If that fourth one would have went in, man, I think
Yeah.
I probably would have jumped out of my window. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was crazy. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that his play can continue that way. And like I said, he might have, I don't know, maybe he just looked in the mirror and said, it's my time to step up. It's my time to play and be Tyrese Proctor. I think that four guard lineup, I think is dope. Um, and the biggest thing out of that four guard lineup, I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but Jared McCain really rebounded well um, from the guard spot out of that four line. And I think, he always does pretty well as far as rebounding. But that game, I'm not even sure how many rebounds he got, but it seemed like he grabbed probably 7 or 8 rebounds, you know what I mean, from the wing. Um, and that's good. It's good on him because I mean he didn't have the big offensive output, you know what I mean, that we would like, but he did other things. He played defense, and just like you guys were saying earlier, they hit a lot of contested shots, man. And that's the thing about Georgia Tech and Stoudemire, man. Their offense, they do a really good job of offense, especially, what I mean, that middle ball screen. You gotta, they put Duke in almost an impossible situation. It's like you gotta choose. You gotta choose what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? You're either gonna stop the roll guy or you're gonna fucking stop the jump shot. Which one? Because you can't do both. And that's where you saw Georgia Tech, get a lot of those shots in the lane, with the big kid.
Yeah, no,
I
I
will
thought
say McCain, he had 4 rebounds. It felt like more,
Mhm.
but
he
four
did.
rebounds.
It did feel
He's
like
really
more.
been quietly a very good rebounder this season. He's had multiple 6, 7 rebound games at like what is
Yeah.
he, 6'2", 6'3"? That's impressive.
Yeah, he's not afraid to mix it up, which is one thing
No.
that even when he's not shooting, I just love watching him play because he plays the game extremely hard the entire game, whether his shot is falling or not. And the
Mhm.
rebounding, he may have only statistically had 4 rebounds, but he was part of a lot of, they call them team
Yeah.
rebounds,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
thought that he certainly helped out in that situation quite a bit. Flip, had a great game. He was 30 points, 13 rebounds. He missed 5 free throws. That's the only knock that you can really have because he could have had 35 easy. He missed a couple bunnies, but overall, the dude plays so hard. And I think that he's really kind of turned that corner after we called him out. Um, but obviously, we got to talk a little bit about the fact that both times that we played Georgia Tech, we've been down a starter for basically the entire game. Tyrese played 1 minute against Georgia Tech and goes down. We had to kind of find our way and figure something out there. And then right before the game, we learned that Mark Mitchell's not playing. So how did that kind of affect, especially our defense, that pick and roll, Pablo, that you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you saw what it was. That caused, what I mean, a huge problem for us. We didn't have our most versatile defender. I would probably venture to say that he might be our best defender, but for sure he's our most versatile defender. You know, he could guard bigs, he could guard smaller players. It's affected everything. You know, we're missing. You know, you got to think about it. We're missing a 6'9", versatile defender with a huge wingspan, who's always there to help. You know what I'm saying, on the pick and roll. You know, they're obviously their goal was to put Filipowski in the pick and roll and make him move, kind of wear him out. You know, the backup has always been Mark. You know what I mean? Now we had to do it from, with other guys, other smaller guys. That's why you will see, you saw, I'm not sure how many offensive rebounds Georgia Tech got, but it feels like they had a lot. Do you know how many offensive rebounds they got, Jack? While you look that up, I'll
They have
talk about
5. They have 5
They
offensive
had
rebounds.
5. We had 11
for the
offensive.
whole game. They had 5.
They had
Yeah,
5 for the whole game.
Okay, yeah, and that's good. And it seems like I feel like that had a big part of that was the big kid getting out trouble and not playing much in the first half. I can't remember his name, man. Their big center, their best player. But anyway,
Gongo.
um, yeah, Ndongo. Yeah, yeah. So that man, I'm telling you, you can't replace a player like Mark, man. You really can't. You know what I mean?
no.
It's tough. You know what I mean? How do you replace somebody that does that, who could potentially give you 20 plus points at any minute? Not just that, but guard the best player on the other team. You know what I mean? No matter what size they are, big or small, pause. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I mean? Anytime a guy like that sits out, man, other guys gonna have to step up. You know what I mean? I'm hoping for a speedy recovery for him, and we need him back in the lineup ASAP.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought that anytime you lose a player of that stature, a guy that can guard 1 through 5, and that's actually legitimately can guard 1 through 5,
Yes.
that's going to play a huge factor, especially right before the game. That's what happened to us against Tennessee. I'm not saying that we win the game necessarily against Tennessee if Mark plays, but it sure as hell would have been a different ball game. And
Hmm.
the other thing, Jack, is got to give Ryan Young a shit ton of credit for his performance. I thought his job hedging ball screens in the second half was a huge factor. He grabbed 9 rebounds. He almost had a double double in 23 minutes. Just outstanding play from Ryan Young.
He seems to do that lately when we need it the most. He comes through. He did that against Baylor. He did that here against Georgia Tech. He knows when he needs to show up the most, and he does. He delivers. He really does. Like people trash him for whatever. Like, yeah, he got absolutely like dunked on this game. I'm not gonna act like that didn't happen.
That was
But
that dunk. I
that
mean,
was a
not your comment, the actual
no,
dunk.
no, no. That was an incredible dunk. I'm not gonna sit here and act like that dunk wasn't insane. But yeah, Ryan Young has some deficiencies in his game, but he is also a very large part of the reason we won. So I'm not gonna sit
For
here and take
sure.
any Ryan Young disrespect from anyone. Give the man his props.
Yeah, I mean, not much needs to be said about that. And then I do want to talk real quick about Tyrese Proctor's play again because Uh, probably you said it, that maybe he looked in the mirror there and was like, "Hey, shit, I'm not playing around now. I gotta step up." Maybe that's what it is, but I really do want to focus because I think we've seen Mark Mitchell do it. We have now seen Filipowski do it. Now it seems like it's Tyrese Proctor's time. And if honestly, we gotta hope that Mark comes back healthy. The timetable there is a little bit iffy. We're not sure when he'll be back, so we'll cover that. But just in terms of our style of play, when Tyrese is cooking, I think it's really difficult to beat Duke.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Like I mentioned before, like, him playing at his best or at a high level, you know, our ceiling is ridiculous. Um, Tyrese, man, I mean, I guess he just had a come to Jesus moment. And we gotta realize too, man. I think what people don't understand, like they put all these labels and expectations on these players. These players are still young as hell. And they're playing all these teams they're playing as old for a college standard. You know what I mean? They're young too, but they're old for a college standard. This is a guy's second year playing college basketball. What is this? Tyrese is what? They're like 30th game at Duke or something like that. Like that's relatively young. You know what I mean? The guy is only probably what 19, 20 years old. He's still young, so they're still trying to figure things out, man. And I think that's why you see um, Kyle go through his stretch, Mark go through his stretch, Tyrese go through his stretch. We haven't really we even had a big game from Caleb Foster lately. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Jared McCain, he went through his stretch early, then he woke up and, now it's here to stay. If we could get all these guys on the same page like they've been on, we're going to be fine, man. I think people just gotta relax a little bit and understand, like I said, man, it's early in the season and these guys are still young. They're still trying to figure things out. Give them a chance to figure things out, man, and we'll be okay. I just don't like when all of the one thing I can say, man, is that when the game is being played, right? Like that's why I normally never like look at my phone, especially Twitter, when the game is being played, because I know it's gonna be a shitload of overreactions, man. I mean, like it could be like a Ryan Young turnover, and that's exactly why he shouldn't be in the game. Like, what is John do? Like, just a bunch of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll say like the most disrespectful and craziest shit about a player, and normally when that happens, that said player normally is like one of the biggest keys of the game for us to win. So that's why I'm just like, I don't normally get on Twitter while the game is being played, because for my mental health, I can't deal with that shit, because I'd be wanting to just jump through the phone and just strangle people sometimes and like, shut the hell up. Do you even know basketball? It's like, 2 minutes into the game and you're complaining about why a guy is in the game. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. That shit is crazy to me. So, yeah, that's how I feel.
I will say I've had one Twitter overreaction that I've actually put out there. When
Hmm.
a couple years ago, it was early season. Mark Williams was really struggling. It was the Final Four season. And I tweeted, it was I think 3, 4 games into the season. I'm like, Mark is really having some trouble fitting with the team. I'm not sure how that's gonna go this season. And then Kenny Denard calls me out and says, "Nah, he's gonna be fine. I'm not worried. You shouldn't be worried." Then and there, if Coach K's first captain, one of Coach K's first captains, is telling me he's fine, he's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say that I have tons of overreactions. I don't go on social media. I don't go on, the message boards,
No,
game
you just
threads,
go into
anybody.
our group chat
No, I just
instead.
go into our group chat and piss everybody off
Yeah.
because, I'm calling people out. So, but, usually what happens is like after the game, Pablo, when you've had a chance to like actually let the entire game play out and
Hmm.
you see how stupid you actually sound because yeah, Ryan Young, he may have gotten dunked on by Cisco, and that was insane. But at the same
Yeah.
time, we don't win that game without the play of Ryan Young. He was fantastic in the second
Yeah.
half. It's like every time I call out Flip for missing a couple bunnies, you turn around and realize the guy had 30 points, 2 blocks, 4 assists,
Hmm.
13 rebounds, and is playing 37 minutes. The guy's doing everything that he has, to for his team. And I think it's important for fans just to be like take a deep breath, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing about it, man. And I realize, man, that like, people are passionate and they get emotional and they get in their feelings. I got it, you know what I mean. But we just gotta, if you're gonna try, John Shire's the coach, man. You know what I mean. He's not gonna do everything right. He's not gonna do everything perfect. You know what I mean? He never said that he would be, and Coach K didn't say that he would be. Like he's gonna do things that we're just not gonna understand. But ultimately, we're not on the fucking floor. You know what I'm saying? We're not the ones out there playing. So it's like just relax a little bit and just take a deep breath and just trust that, and also know that we're not gonna win every fucking game. That's just it. You know what I'm saying? Like teams are gonna do things, and John is gonna be. Yeah.
Did we lose him?
Yeah. What happened? Did we cut out?
Uh, uh, yeah,
Nah,
he cut
you
out a
froze
little
for a
bit.
Am
sec.
I here?
You're good. You're good. We're here.
Yeah,
You're
you
here.
there?
Oh yeah. No. But yeah, so that's basically what it is, man. I think sometimes as fans, man, we just gotta take a step back and just realize that, things aren't, it's not a perfect world. It's basketball. Shit's gonna happen out there on the floor. Let's just stick with our team, man, and let's just do what we do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
no doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, to your point, Duke's 13-3. They're 4-1 in the ACC, and that was
Yes.
and an early December conference loss on the road where we lost our point guard 1 minute into the game and had a stupid technical at the end that, if you're really calling shots here, Georgia Tech could have had a couple against us at Duke. So for the same thing. So the consistency of which some of those things are called is a little bit ridiculous. But that is what it is. We won 8 games in a row, and we got another chance Saturday to win against Pitt. But Jack, real quick, Mark Mitchell and Jeremy Roach both have what seems to be knee injuries. And, I saw our boy Connor O'Neill tweeted out that John Shire said both of them are day to day. What is kind of your feeling on when either one of them comes back?
I have no idea. Plain and simple. Mark really apparently was in a lot of pain and struggling to practice this week, so there's that. Um, okay, he might be back. We have a week off now until the next game, which is another one against Pitt. Um, maybe he'll be back by then. Jeremy, it's the same thing. I don't know. He tried to get back into the game, and pretty quickly was subbed out again. I think I heard there was going to be some more testing done today. We'll see what happens, but as of right now, we don't know. We'll find out probably more over the course of the week, but we won't get anything definitive until Saturday.
Yeah, Pablo, you think that Roach might miss a couple games?
Yeah, just judging from the look of it, I mean, obviously, I don't know for sure. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't look all that good. You know what I mean? But I mean, just non-contact injury. You know what I mean? You just never know. You know what I mean? With things like that, you could do some imaging. It could be a damn ACL tear, a meniscus tear, PCL, MCL. Who knows? You know what I mean? Hopefully, it's none of that, and hopefully, you get back on the court as soon as possible. But ultimately, we just want both of those guys just to be healthy. You know what I mean? Because we definitely aren't going anywhere if we don't have those two guys on the court. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And the good news is that we play Pitt and we have a week off, so it gives them a little bit more time not only to rest but to kind of feel out what the situation is and how long that they need to sit out. And then the other thing is after we play Pitt on Saturday, we play at Louisville on Tuesday. So, I mean, call it what it is. Like, Louisville's not good. So it will be their Super Bowl. There's no question about that. But it's a lot better than, certainly playing at Virginia Tech or at North Carolina, which we have coming up at the end of this month in early February. So let's get into the Pitt preview. Obviously, we just played them. So we kind of know what we're looking at there. But again, we don't know what our roster is going to look like. So let's say, Pablo, that um, Mark Mitchell and Jeremy Roach do not play. What does that do to this Duke team to face a Pitt team that they just blew out?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to adjust, obviously. You know what I mean? Because in that blowout, Jeremy and Mark had a big part to do. They had a big part in that blowout. So, I mean, other guys are just gonna have to step up, and that's the bottom line. TJ Power, Ryan Young, he's gonna have to play well again. Maybe Sean might get some time. I'm not sure, but it's an opportunity, and these are those games that everybody says, you know what I mean, and when it's your time to step in, seize the moment. You know what I mean? Step in, step up. You know what I mean? Do something. Impress the coaches while playing within the construct of the team. You know what I mean? To push the team forward to a win, and this is sometimes, man. This is what legends are made of, man. Who knows, man? We might have a legendary performance from Sean, maybe TJ. I don't know, you know what I mean? But as long as our guards are playing well, and they have absolutely no answer for Filipowski. So just keep doing, you know what I mean? Keep doing what we did last game, you know what I mean? Just feed the post, let Flip go to work, and hopefully our shots fall, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think they're shooting the ball pretty well overall, and
Yeah.
it's coming from a lot of different players. Flip's shooting the ball great. Now Tyrese is starting to hit. Jared hasn't hit in a couple of games, so you got to figure that he's going to come out hot. Caleb, hopefully he can continue to attack the rim and play well. So I think we're going to be okay either way. Jack, I think, uh, I mean, if neither one of them play, I got to imagine that Sean gets some minutes, right?
He has to. If there's no Mark Mitchell, then you don't really have any other guy to put your four man's minutes into. You got Power, you got Stewart, you got Flip, but how much do you want to do that? Like it's gonna be interesting to see, but I fully expect Stewart to get a decent amount of run if Mark's not playing. And even if he is playing, just based on how the last game against Pitt went.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to get Sean minutes because obviously we blew them out. I don't think it'll be the same type of game just because of the roster construction, and I think it is difficult to blow a team out twice in a row, especially with this quick turnaround. But then again, I also thought that we would blow Georgia Tech out, and they came out and shot like the Warriors. So what do I know? Not much, but I do know that every time I do call somebody out, they seem to listen and play a little bit better. So I think I'm going to call out Jared McCain and say that he needs to hit a couple more threes. You're welcome. That means he should hit about 7 or 8 of them against Pitt. But again, a quick podcast. We wanted to touch on the games that we played and obviously address the VJ recruitment. But hey, we got Jack. Don't we have a big recruitment coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, we do. We got I'll let Pablo handle most of this, but we do have some pretty good guy who just reclassified coming in, international recruit. Pablo, you know way more about this guy than I do, so I'll let you take it.
Yeah. Yeah. On Saturday, we got a Khaman Maluach coming in, 7'2" center from Sudan. Really good player. Uh, Big guy center, obviously, being 7'2". Honestly, he's what we need. Everybody's looking at him as being that rim protector, and I think that's why saying, oh, same talking points as usual on Twitter is, oh, we need a rim protector, oh, we need this, we need that. I got it, you know what I mean? But he's more than just that. You know what I mean? The kid is he has some serious tools on the offensive end. Obviously, he's still young. Um, he just turned 17 in September, so he's young. If we get him, it'd be huge. You know what I mean? It'd be huge for us. Pair him up with a Big Pat, and the other players we got coming in, Coop and all them. We're gonna be good. I mean, so far this team really does have the makings of a really good defensive team so far. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I think ultimately, I think we're gonna get him. Where his first visit, we got the Duke connection is there. You know what I mean? With Luol Deng, it only makes sense. You know what I mean? Honestly, I can see a world to where this is probably the only visit he takes. You know what I mean? Or we can get an offer, and well, the offer is already there, but when we can get a commitment, because everything for him is happening pretty fast anyway. With him reclassing so late, um, so it only because it's what, January now. Shit, we can have this kid on campus in what, 5 6 months. You know what I mean? Easily. So we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Like I'm very optimistic about this one, and I feel good. I feel really good.
Yeah, no, I do too, and I think pairing him with Cooper Flag will just be alarmingly good next year. Those two playing the 4 or 5, and it just opens up so many things for Cooper Flag to have a guy like that paired with him. And I think it does happen. I think our biggest competitions on what I've heard is the G League. So it's pretty much what kind of path do you want to take? And
Yeah.
for a kid that's that young, that really just kind of picked up the game a few years ago, I think coming to a more structured environment like Duke would probably be much more beneficial than going to the G League. But I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Um, are we sure that Cooper's gonna play the four?
Where do you have him playing? The 3?
I mean, Mark played the three.
I think Coop's versatile enough to play the three.
Yeah,
I don't.
I think he's an NBA wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna play the three at Duke, but
I
Yeah,
mean,
I think.
we always talk about like, who plays the 3, the 4, the 5. John's just going to put him in advantageous
Yeah.
positions. Them
Yeah.
making a difference. I think he'll have the ball in his hands quite a bit, and I think you know, John's just going to let him do whatever. If he wants to shoot it. If you want to
Yeah.
drive, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not going to have any
Yeah.
restrictions on with
Yeah. And I
Cooper.
mean, I only asked because we got to think about it. Oh, go ahead, Jack. What was you about to say?
I didn't say. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh no, I only asked because if you look at the roster like last year, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Mark played the three exclusively for the whole
Hmm.
year. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's why I'd say, you know what I mean? Are we sure he's gonna play the four? You know what I mean? I just don't. I think, we're gonna see a world to where he's gonna play on the wing, but he'll also spend time, playing the four as well. But in our offense, a lot of the times though, that he does different things. So the four is on the wing, on the perimeter, sometimes, a lot of the times. So
So,
it's gonna be
so who
interesting
would
to see what happens. But I think
who would
everybody just.
if you pair,
Mhm.
I don't mean to cut you off, but like if you pair him
Mhm.
on next year's team, who
Mhm.
would play? Who would be that starting five then? Let's assume that Foster comes back and McCain doesn't. What's that? What does that
Okay.
starting five look like?
Yeah. So I would go with I think what you'll see is you'll see obviously Foster at the one. Um I think um it'll be a dogfight for that two spot between and Isaiah and Khan. And then I think you could throw Coop in there at the three if he's not playing the four. If we get Khan five, obviously, and then the four. Uh Shit. It just depends, man. Like you see this, man. Historically, John likes to pause. John likes to play big. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you might see Big Pat out there. Big Pat with Khaman out there. You know what I'm saying? And Coop at the three. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do that, you still get shooting. You still get a lot of things that you need. You know what I mean? So like you're really not missing out on anything. Um, Even though what I mean, like Pat isn't the fleetest of foot, but I mean that's just it's that's just a very versatile lineup, man. I mean, I think we can do a lot of different things, you know what I'm saying, with that lineup. But Foster, Isaiah, Coop, Kaman, Big Pat, or you can go Foster, Isaiah, you can go Harris, Darren. Um, I mean, it's a mixture. I mean, you could
Yeah.
pause. You could play with that roster all day. You know what I'm saying? You could play with it in different ways, like people fit. Pause in different. You know, relax, DK. Jesus Christ, like, you killing me. Pause. That was crazy too. So I mean, I think that's the good part of the that we, you know what I'm saying? That's the good thing about the roster we got coming in. It's a lot of versatility. So so we good on that, man. I'm done with your ass, man. Go ahead, man. Pause. That was crazy.
No, we're good.
Yo.
Yeah, no, I think obviously we'll touch on the roster for next year. I think Common does end up choosing Duke, and that's going to be um that should kind of lock in that class for good. And then we just kind of focus
Hmm.
on the rest of the season because this season is going to be a lot of fun. We got Pitt on Saturday, then we go up to Jackson, Louisville Cardinal. Then we
Don't
got
suck.
a
No, they're not mine. They just
huge
suck.
stretch. And yeah, Clemson at home, and then at Virginia Tech, and then at Carolina. So huge stretch coming up here for Duke. But hey, a lot to be happy about right now. We got an 8-game winning streak on a week off. Prepare for Pitt, and let's make it 9. Let's go Duke.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Duke.
Let's go, Duke.
All right, you know where to find us: Twitter, LinkedIn. Just kidding. Instagram, Patreon. We're gonna do a coach's corner
Patreon
on.
right there on the
There we
ticker.
go. It's free. It's free. So join us on
Is
Patreon for the Coach's Corner on Thursday. AC, D, Pablo, Jack will all be there breaking it all down for y'all. Hey, go Birds.
I'm ready to get hurt again. Let's go, Birds.
Hey, yo.